Hi, my name is Karen from Hollywood Happenings, and this is Max Devereaux. She's going to talk about her books coming out, My Last Breath. Hi, welcome to Hollywood Happenings, Max.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks for having me.
So, Max, just if you were a color, what would you be and why?
White because it's pure. I would be black because it's wrong. Being a writer, I would tell somebody right from your heart and not from your head. Because what comes from the heart reaches the heart. I'll be a lion.
A lion? Why would you be a lion?
Because it shows their strength and their fears, and even when they're afraid, you really can't tell it because they stand in who they know they are.
Now, you would be a lion. That kind of shows your strength, a little bit about your everything that you've gone through with your battle, your breast cancer battle.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was your feeling when you found out that you had breast cancer?
Well, when I first found out, God had given it to me in a dream. I left the breast, hopped off my chest, ran across from me, told me that it was sick and that if I didn't have it cut off, that it would kill me. Like maybe 4 weeks later, I was in the shower. I found a lump. I didn't say anything for 2 months. And when I did, I started going to doctors. They say, don't worry about it. You have lumpy breasts, you'll be. But I knew what God said, and I could only stand on what God said. And so 6 doctors later, after a negative mammogram, ultrasound, pathology report, biopsy, all of the tests came back. And so 6 doctors later, I convinced the surgeon to do a lumpectomy. And once he did the lumpectomy, the cancer was hiding behind the lump. So there was no way that they could have protected it. And so I was really frustrated because you know your body more than anybody does. And so 6 doctors later, it was a bit irritating, but I was thankful that I heard the voice of God. I stood firm on what God had said and that they found it. And when they did find it, I was at stage 3C, triple negative breast cancer, which is a very rare and aggressive one.
So that was my next question. I was going to ask you what exactly is the triple negative 3C, besides it being a rare form? So it's more serious than like regular stage 3?
Well, what it is triple negative breast cancer is fairly new, they say, and they don't really know how to cure it. And so there are some of the chemotherapy treatments that regular breast cancer patients can take. It will do the opposite effect on triple negative cancer patients. So what will happen is, like if I take hormones or something, that feeds on the cancer. Whereas somebody else can take hormone, therapy, and then that helps stop the cancer cells. So it's a little tricky, but it's all in God's hand.
So what kind of, you had hormone treatments? So what?
No, I can't have hormone treatments because I have triple negative breast cancer.
Okay.
And it does the opposite effect. It will cause the cancer to grow. And so can't eat any meat with hormones in it. It's a journey.
So do you still have the breast cancer, or are you cancer free?
I'm not cancer free. We don't know what's really going on because there's been so much side effects since the cancer, and my health is just in a state of turmoil right now. So there's still procedures that I need. There's still treatments that I need.
So what kind of treatments are they giving you?
Well, right now we're trying to stabilize my condition because I'm having heart issues, thyroid issues, cholesterol issues, and they can't do anything until that's settled. So the biggest thing is getting my heart settled.
Describe your feeling when you actually found out, because you had it in a dream. So when the doctors finally found it, what was your feeling?
By the time they finally found it, I was really upset and irritated because it should not have taken 6 doctors to listen to one patient. And then I had nurses that said, "Oh, you're fine. The tests are negative. Leave it alone." And so it saddened me, but then I realized that I couldn't dwell on the negative, that I had to step into this arena and fight for my life. So whatever had happened was of no importance to me. What was before me was what was most important, and that was fighting for my life. But in the midst of that, I was grateful that I was still enough to hear the voice of God, because had I just listened to doctors and reports, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
So how did that affect your husband and your family? And how is he handling it right now?
My husband has been amazing. Day one has been there. He has not missed one doctor's appointment. Even when I had to go every day, he was there. He is so provider, because now I can't cook. I can't be a heat. I still need to sit with this baby. And so he's there, and he has been phenomenal. He has been what husbands really should. And I really appreciate him and thank God for him.
He's like he's like in the worst of the vows right now.
I wouldn't say worst.
Well, you know how they say better or worse.
Yeah,
sickness, he's in the sickness part of the vows.
He's in the sickness part of the vows. Or I would say he's in the mission part of the vows. And I say mission because in every situation that God allows us to be, that it's really not for us. It's for other people so that they can have a voice. And so Maya Angelou wrote a poem, a note to my grandmothers, and there's a line in it that says, "I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And that's what I do. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000 of the voiceless women and men that will have breast cancer that won't speak up.
Now, what is My Last Breast? It's your new book. What is that about?
It's about my journey through what I would like to call cancer land and chemotherapy island. So it talks about all of the stuff that people don't talk about. It talks about the journey of the doctors finally finding the cancer. It talks about how in every experience, every doctor visit, every time I went to the hospital, there was somebody that God would allow me to minister to. So it talks about having strength in the crisis so that other people, can feel safe and know that there's a way out of every situation. There's a way.
Now, you talked about it allowed you, like you had, how do I say this? Like you ministering, because you had it in a dream that you had cancer, and it took you 6 doctors before they actually found it. So how do you feel that helps, that God brought that to you to help other people to learn to deal with it?
I believe that God brought it to me that way so that I can be the voice for many, that when you feel something in your body, the body doesn't lie. And sometimes test results don't, right? They could be taking the wrong test. And so you get the results for the test that you get. Sometimes results don't show up. And so basically, I really want people to be proactive in their own health care. I want people to listen to the voice of God, still small voice that will never leave you astray. And when the doctors are saying, I can't find anything, you're fine, come back in 6 months. If you and your body knows no something is wrong, don't remain silent. Fight for an answer and get to the bottom of what's causing the problems.
Now, what is your this is your project right now, My Last Breast, and you've written, you're a screenwriter. You wrote short stories. So what's some of your short stories that you've written?
I'm more of a film writer kind of person, so the short stories are just for me to write. But I worked on a project called.
What kind of scripts? What do you like to write? Like made for television, any particular thing like what you're going through, reality or drama, comedy?
I like the mixture. I like the melting pot of every emotion that we have to deal with. Like to write stuff that reaches the heart, because I think that when we write something, or when somebody reads something or sees something that touches the heart, then that's when true transformation comes.
What is your favorite song?
My favorite is interesting. I don't have a favorite song, but the one that got me through the roughest times, I would have to say, is I didn't know my own strength by Whitney Houston. Because when you're going through stuff, you can look at the crisis that you're going through. You can invest in the pain, or you can look at it as a challenge and say, "I'm not dying. I'm going through this." And then you look back 8 months later, and you didn't realize that you had that much strength to go through.
So are they giving you like? I'm kind of going back a little bit. I'm sorry. So are they giving you like as far as because you can't take hormone therapy? Are they giving you like chemo or any time to help to try to get rid of the cancer?
I went through 9 months of chemo.
Okay, and what was that like?
It was like hell. Chemo is hell in liquid form. The very first time that I took chemo, I came home and I was sick. My body literally felt like shutting down. And so I got a call the next morning, and they told me that the doctor requested that I come home. And so when I went back in, they had flushed the system. I was having an allergic reaction to brand chemo, so they had the brand. And so I asked him, I said, what? He said he was asleep at 3:30 in the morning, and he just woke up and he just had this feeling that the chemo was going wrong. And he said that the Lord spoke to him and told him that I needed another concoction. The chemo was very rough. It changed everything that you think you know about who you are.
Now you mentioned in your article that you had other family members that you lost to cancer.
Yeah,
so is that before? That was like after your dream. Then that's when you had the dream.
No, this has been since I was a child. Various family members had cancer, but I've always been a dreamer. God has always spoken to me either in my inner ear or through dreams. So when I was given the dream that it was me that would be facing a cancer journey, I just couldn't believe it. And for some reason, I thought that I could pray it away. And I thought, God, here I am, your servant, your prophet, and this is what I have to go through. So it's
What scripture came to your mind when you got your diagnosis?
Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for your life is not to hurt or harm you, but to prosper you and bring you to an expected end. I love that scripture. That's what I live by, because in this journey called life, God isn't trying to hurt nor harm us. He's just trying to bring us to an expected end and allow us the opportunity to live an abundant life.
If you could do one thing to help ease other people's what they're going through, is like with this book, what would you do?
I would tell them to be proactive in their own health care. I would tell them not to invest in the illness. I would tell them to look at the blessing and the promise of life. And I would tell them that cancer doesn't kill anybody, giving up does. And I would just tell them to take each moment at a time And don't allow anybody else's feelings to affect how you're feeling in your journey. Because at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, this is your journey. And nobody can go through this journey for you. You have to do it. And mindset is very important.
Now, what is your most proudest accomplishment?
Loving God and having a relationship with Him.
And what are your goals and ambitions?
I would like to change the world one breast at a time.
What do you mean?
I would like to change the way that we as a society view breast. I would like to change the fact that people think we are the sum of our body parts. So I would like to change how people look at femininity. And it's not about a body part. It's about a heart. How do you operate in a heart space on a day-to-day basis? And I would like to change the silence of women that are afraid to speak up, that are afraid to show their scars, that are afraid to tell another woman, you know what, we got this. That's what I would change.
Now, how did you come up with the title for My Last Breast?
I like to play on words. And I had a lot of titles, and then I just sat back and I said, God, this isn't about the title that I want. What title do you want? Because this is your story. I am only the co-author. And I went to sleep and woke up, and My Last Breast was the title because at first I had my left breast removed. And then 15 months later, I had the right breast removed. And so literally, they were taking my last breast.
Where is your favorite place to visit?
Heaven.
Have you been to heaven?
Yes, I frequent there. I'm usually in deep sleeps, and I'm allowed to go to heaven. And if I have a question about something, if I want a business plan, if I just want to be at peace, want to wake up with things that I didn't know, I know fully then. For instance, I've been working on a project, this animation project, and I just couldn't figure it out. Tutorials, I kept looking at them, and they're missing a part. They're not telling us something. And I just couldn't get it right. And so I prayed about it. I went to sleep. I was in a dream. I slept for 17 hours. And when I woke up, what I had been trying to master for 8 weeks, I woke up and immediately knew how to do it. And in the dream, I couldn't see God's face, but I could feel His presence. And He picked me up and He put me on His shoulder, and I was like, tiny, tiny, tiny spot. And as He walked around, He talked to me. I don't know what He spoke about, but I knew when I woke up, I had knowledge that I didn't have the right to fall asleep. And I just love stuff like that. My physical, natural place to be that I absolutely love is Sausalito.
Now, would you like to see My Last Breast turned into, with you being a screenwriter, scriptwriter, would you like to turn that into a movie, a feature length, or TV?
I'm actually going to turn it into a made-for-TV movie.
And who's going to play you? Are you going to play yourself?
Oh, no. I wouldn't play myself, no. I would like for Viola Davis to play.
Why Viola Davis?
Because there's a strength about her. There's a familiarity about her. There's something about her that resonates with my spirit. And I knew that I just feel in my heart that she would play me with integrity and an intention. And that's what's really important to me, intention. Like I was told, the Lord told me that 2014 is the year of intention and manifestation. And so with that being said, I really want people to know you use things and not people. So I would want somebody that would play me that would be concerned about the story and the journey, and that would be dedicated to helping other women with whatever they have to go through as far as cancer is concerned. Because every 6 minutes a woman is diagnosed, and every 12 minutes a woman dies.
Wow. Thank you very much for visiting us with Hollywood Happenings. On that note, thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Good afternoon, this is Karen coming to you live from Hollywood and Hollywood Happenings. Today we're with Max Devereaux, and she's going to talk a little bit about a new book called
My
How are you
Last
doing today,
Breath.
Max? Welcome to Hollywood Happenings.
Thanks for having me.